I'm gonna be starting off with my base. So first I'm gonna start off with priming my face. So I've been really liking the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. So I'm gonna go in with that. This helps with like making your makeup stick. It definitely gives me like a flawless base. So I put the majority of the product around my nose. And then I'll go in with the Tacha for my pores. And I basically put it in my cheek area because I have some pores here. So these are my two go-to products to prime my face as of right now. Sometimes I'll like go in and I'll just tap it on. So now I'm gonna go in with the milk primer, and I usually just do like 1.5 pumps of it, warm it up in my fingers, and then I'll tap it like so. I find that tapping it instead of rubbing it, I'm able to cover my whole face with it. I'm going to be using the Maybelline Super Stay foundation, and I'm going to be mixing that with the NARS Natural Radiant Long-Wear Foundation. Shade Barcelona in the NARS and 32 Golden Caramel in the Maybelline. I'm going to be mixing these two foundations. I usually do like a pump and a half of them. So sometimes I'll go in with MAC Stroke Cream, and this is in Pink Light, and I'll just mix like a teeny tiny bit. Sometimes I'll put it in like all the way up here where concealer goes, just to like cancel out any darkness. This is my Juno & Co. These sponges are so good and so affordable. It gives you such like a seamless base. Sometimes I'll go in and I'll put foundation on my nose, but I'll put like a really light layer because you don't want your nose to look cakey. This brush right now that I'm using, this is the Morphe M705. I'll just go and I'll like clean up my brows. And the key to everything is blending, honestly. Like, you don't want to have like a cast of foundation, especially if your foundation doesn't match you like 100%. We're gonna use the L'Oreal Infallible in shade Chestnut, and then we're gonna use the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer in shade Chestnut. So I just dot it around my hairline. And when you're doing it on your cheeks, when you're blending it out, swirling your brush forward or backwards, it ends up coming down. So I try to place my cream contour higher because I eventually know that it's going to move its way down. So I'm going to go in with this Real Techniques brush. This is the Instapop cheek brush. So, and I just tap to avoid moving my foundation. You'll see me go in with my beauty sponge and further like blend, just to make sure that like I don't have any harsh lines. And don't be afraid to like bring that up to your hair because you don't want to have that like line. And you want to bring it up to your temple, and the leftover foundation, dab it in a little bit, and just like, and then blend it out. Now we're going to go in with concealer. I'm going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape using light medium and light sand. Going in with light medium first, and I'm just going to draw a couple of lines. So I don't like to draw lines all the way to like my temple because this concealer and majority of concealers, they all spread. So doing this side. I'm gonna take some concealer and I'm gonna use a MAC 242 brush. So I'm just gonna use this to clean up under my brows. This is actually a really good technique. You don't have to know how to do your eyebrows as long as you learn to clean them up. Now instead of using the sponge that I used for my foundation, I'm gonna go in with a clean sponge. And you see, like, it's spreading. A little bit of product goes a long way. Sometimes I'll go in with the same brush that I used for cream bronzer and further blend. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the light sand concealer. And I'll let that dry, and then what I'll do is that with the other concealer, I'll go in and I'll put some on my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, then on my chin. You want to make sure that you're blending out all the creases before you set them. So I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm not baking, so I'm going to flip the sponge over because if I blend out these creases, I'm going to set them instead of blend them. Maybe I shouldn't have contour for my first potential video. I'm going to set our face. We'll be taking the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in medium dark.
So I just noticed my camera wasn't recording.
But I basically just did my bronzer. So what I'm doing is I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury powder, and this is in the shade medium 2. And I'm just tapping in my damp beauty sponge, and I'm just gonna brighten up my under eye area. You see like that brightness? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that same Fenty bronzer. I'm gonna take the Morphe E22 brush. And the Jaclyn Hill palette has this like pukey color. This pukey color. Okay, so I added lashes and I added Close to Reach by MAC in my waterline. Now the last thing that I have to do is blush. So I'm going to try something new. I've been seeing a lot of makeup artists use this. So I'm going to take the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink in the shade Seductress. This is shade 65. And take some on the back of my hand. And I'm going to take my blush brush. This is the Morphe M405. Tap into it, and I'm just gonna tap it on my cheeks. So you can see it's actually picking up, and it actually looks really nice. Just like every other cream product that we use, that's just gonna be useful as a base for and intensify when you add the powder on top. You just want to make sure you like tap and blend. And we're gonna go in with the Juvia's Place, the Saharan Volume 2. And I usually just mix in between these two. And I'm just gonna tap it off. And you can go ahead with the blush because blush is like the first thing that comes off. I'm gonna be using this NYX lip liner in the shade Hot Red. So what I like to do is this. So I still have leftover foundation. I like to go in and I'll like go and like wipe my lip. We're going to use the Fenty Uncensored Lip Paint. I'm gonna take this Morphe M421 brush. This is the Jennifer Lopez Inglot collaboration in Live in the Highlight. Going with some setting spray, and I'm going to use the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. One more thing. I make my pimples into beauty mark. What I do is that I'll go in with like any brown eyeliner, and I'll like do that. That is it. This is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope that you were able to learn something new. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Really appreciate it if you guys subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll definitely be including all the product details in the description down below. Bye guys.